Hey YouTube, welcome or welcome back to TXC Tells All. Today I'm going to be talking to my lawyers, recent law school grads or law students, and I want to answer the question, what if big law isn't for you? Big law is not for everybody. It wasn't for me, but I have been, scouring YouTube and looking at different videos on that topic, and I see a lot of videos about, how to prepare for your big law interview, or how to get your first job in big law, or how it is working in big law. And I don't see that many videos about the other avenues that lawyers can take to start or continue their legal career. Big law isn't for everybody. It sure wasn't for me. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the avenues that I took to start and continue my legal career and what's available out there for you if big law isn't for you. So if you're thinking to yourself right now, big law is not for me, it's not going to be for me, and I need to find some other avenues to continue or start my legal career, make sure you watch this video to the end because that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about. And from personal experience, telling you there are a lot of other opportunities and avenues available to you. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. We post new videos every single Sunday. Yeah. Okay, so if you're a law student right now, you are probably looking at what jobs are available out there and looking at job postings, or if you're a recent law school grad looking for your first position, you're probably looking at job postings too. And the reality is a lot of big law job postings say we want applicants in the top 10% of their class, and they have to be from a top tiered or Ivy League law school. That's not everybody's story. It certainly wasn't my story, and that's one of the reasons why big law is not an option for everyone. So then what do you do? So you have the side of big law not being an option because of the requirements that are in their job postings, but also if you just don't want to be in big law environment. I think for me it was twofold. Big law wasn't going to be for me because I didn't go to a top tier law school, and also I didn't really know if I wanted to be in that type of environment. Obviously I haven't worked in big law, but I have had colleagues who have, and they require a certain amount of billable hours usually, and it is definitely a certain lifestyle. So if you are not looking for that, or that doesn't align with where you see your legal career going, watch this video because there are other options. And most importantly, there are other options that you can still make six figures, which if you're coming out of law school with debt like a lot of us are, or you just want to make sure that you can start your legal career and make a salary that's commensurate with all the work that you put into getting this degree, you can do that, and big law is not the only way. Okay, so U.S. News and World Report just in April of 2020 put out an article about the law schools that have the highest percentage of students that lead or go into big law jobs. I'm going to read them out to you. Stanford, University of Virginia, Harvard, Northwestern University, NYU, University of Pennsylvania, Yale, Columbia, Cornell, and the University of Chicago. If you're on that list, or if your school is on that list, that's great, and you're interested in big law, wonderful. If you're not on that list, like me, or you did go to one of those schools, but you don't want a career in big law, let's talk about what your other options are, because there are a bunch of other options out there. Okay, so let's get to it. I always, when I'm watching YouTube videos and I'm talking about a certain topic, I'm like, tell me what you did. Tell me what you personally did, and give me concrete information that I can apply. So here we go. When I graduated law school, I did not have a job lined up, but I had done internships. So just to be straight with you guys, I had some experience on my resume in employment law, which is the field that I want to go into. So what I did was I started applying to smaller firms. I'm talking anywhere from 20 or less employees or attorneys. So I was looking at very small firms where I went directly to their website, and I didn't go and apply only for applications that I may have seen on the state bar or on job postings. I went to the website and I put in personalized applications, almost like an email application, saying, hey, here's my background, here's my cover letter and a writing sample. If you have any openings available, this is my experience and I'm interested in an entry-level position. with small law firms, that can be very effective because usually if you get an email, even if it's like an info at type email, it's going directly to the attorneys in those kinds of small law firms, and they're seeing it. How I got some traction, and this was when I was first in New Jersey, um, was going to New Jersey Employment Lawyers Association meetings and actually meeting lawyers that had small law firms. Most of the lawyers that would attend these meetings and were part of NELA were small plaintiff side law firms. So it was not big law, and I was surrounded by people who, if they were open to hiring, this is the environment that I would need to be in to make those connections. So there's a National Employment Lawyers Association, and there's usually subsets of that in each state. I would say, I mean, that's very particular to employment law, but if you are interested in employment law, that's a great place to start for looking for small law firm jobs. I will tell you how I got my first job. I met an attorney and kind of told him what I was interested in, and he put my resume on the job or forum board in NELA, so the New Jersey Employment Lawyers Association. He took a copy of my resume, he posted it on their forum where they would ask attorneys that were part of the organization would ask each other questions, not necessarily for hiring, just random questions about cases that they may have been working on or new case law that may have come down. And he put my resume on there, and one of the firms that was a member of the organization contacted him, and he was able to connect us, and that's how I got my first job. So very unconventional, did not put a application in where you're going to have thousands of people applying to the same job. It was a little bit more personal and on a smaller scale. So that's really something that you can think about using to your advantage, especially if you're applying to smaller law firms. Okay, so that's one way. You're not big law is not for you. Try the smaller firms. Think outside the box a little bit. Don't just apply to job postings that you may see on Indeed or on the state bar websites. Go directly to the small firm's website. See if you can get an email, and email your resume and your cover letter and a brief description in the email of what you're looking for. You never know. I was able to get my second job when I moved to Texas that way, doing exactly that. I went and looked for employment law firms in Houston, where I was at the time, and I did the same thing for the top 3 plaintiff smaller law firms that came up on my Google search. And within 30 minutes, the firm that I ended up getting hired by and spending 7 years of my career at emailed me back within 30 minutes of receiving my email with my resume, my cover letter, and a writing sample, and letting them know that I was interested in an entry level associate position. And I did some contract work for about a month, and I ended up getting hired full time. I was not even licensed in Texas when I got that job. So just to give you an idea of that being a real option, sending an email to smaller law firms and letting them know that you're looking for work as an associate attorney, especially for entry level positions with smaller law firms. A lot of them are not advertising on Indeed. They are maybe going to post in their alumni job board where they went to law school or other places like that. But if they get a direct email from an attorney and they like what they see, it's very possible that they may contact you, like what happened in my situation. So definitely use that. If big law is not for you and you're interested in applying to small law firms, that is a way that you can contact them and see if they have jobs available. And like I said, I worked at that firm for 7 years, so that is a viable option and it could actually work for you. Okay, next, so we talked about working for a small law firm, but that's not the only other option outside of big law. Solos. You can also go out on your own. Now, I will be honest with you, for me, straight out of law school, I was terrified to do that. I didn't feel like I had enough experience, and I kind of wanted to get and learn under the tutelage of someone else, under their experience, have someone to go to with questions. So being a solo wasn't for me. But my husband, who is also an attorney, that's how he started his career. He went straight from law school to opening up his own law firm. And it worked for him. He's been able to grow the firm exponentially in the past 5 years. So he started small and grew from there. He did court appointed work at first, and then kind of grew into getting private cases and developed his firm from there. So it definitely is a viable option. And especially if you went to a smaller law school, a lot of lawyers do go the solo route, and you can use alumni kind of as a network. Instead of working for a small firm and having that resource, you use your alumni network, other solos that may have graduated from that law school, to help you through that process. But it's definitely possible. We plan to do another video and give you some more detail about the whole solo journey, but not big law is not for you. A small law firm is an option, and also hanging your own hat as a solo attorney is also an option. All right, another option that is not big law is a judicial clerkship. I had a lot of friends who graduated law school with me who went into clerkship straight out of law school. I will tell you that usually landing a judicial clerkship out of law school requires some planning because they are coveted positions. So usually people are planning and applying to those positions long before graduation. So if you are in law school now and you're not a 3L, you really need to be thinking about that and trying to make those connections, trying to intern. And so when you are in the know about what clerkships are going to be available in your area or even nationwide if you're willing to relocate for a clerkship. But make sure you watch Larita's video on how to land a judicial clerkship. It's really informative, and it will give you the step-by-steps on how to do that. That's something she did. And so you can find out, one-on-one how she did that process, what worked for her, what didn't. And if you want to do that, that's another option available for you. So if big law is not for you, we've already talked about the small law firm route, which I went, solo practice, and a judicial clerkship. And there's one more that I wanted to talk about. All right, so if big law is not for you, one other option is going into government work. There are a lot of attorney positions available within the government. You can go and apply for those online mostly. I mean, you will be applying with probably thousands of other applicants, but they have them all over the country. Sometimes they're called attorney advisors. Watch Larita's video on how to make 6 figures working from home, where she explains her position in working as a government attorney for the Veterans Affairs Board, and she'll give you some information on how she got that job and obviously how she's able to make 6 figures working from home as an attorney for the government. So that is also a viable option. If big law is not for you, you have government attorney positions as a viable, lucrative option, and it can give you, as you climb the GS scale in government work, you can really make good money and have a flexible schedule and have the opportunity to work from home. So I know a lot of people who did not go big law and went that route as well. All right, y'all. So big law is not for you. Don't worry. There are so many other opportunities out there. I am living proof. Larita is living proof that you can be an attorney, you can graduate from law school and not do big law and have a viable, lucrative career going another route. We talked about small firms, government work, judicial clerkships, and solo practitioners. Those are all options. If that's something you're thinking about, talk to me. Leave some comments below if you have any questions. Let me know. Put them in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. We post new videos every single Sunday.